We cannot emphasize enough the importance of getting access to energy for matters such as health, education, or basic needs. I wanted to talk about the idea of powering the last billion, getting electricity for the 790 million people who don't have access to it. We wanted to know if the renewable solutions available on the market were enough to overcome this huge gap in the global electricity access. To try answering this difficult question, we thought that Jens Thomassen was the ideal person to discuss this topic with.
I think it sort of has evolved a little bit since that conference, and we've since bought a power plant in Kenya, and we'll continue to invest more there. And I think that is a thermal grid connected power plant, and then you can now ask, why do you do that? And you do that for a couple of reasons. One is you plant a flag so people know you're a real player. You get access to a technical team of people who knows how to operate and run power plants in Kenya. And you can then sort of move into other types of technology as well. So we have since also moved into East Africa, sorry. But I would say we're probably more invested in West Africa generally. And I think that is probably a combination of, some of the economies may be somewhat larger. It's been also driven by specific opportunities. Renewable energy has really provided cheap electricity to Africa. I mean, if you look back at a couple of years, the average tariff in across sub-Saharan Africa was about 20 US cents per kilowatt hour. I mean, tremendously expensive. This is wholesale grid connected PPA type prices. And you're now seeing Egypt building wind farms at $3 a kilowatt hour. We're seeing tenders even in places like Zambia at sort of the low single digit cents per kilowatt hour. So that is really helping bringing down the overall cost of power. You then come to the second bottlenecks and constraints. That is how do you deal with intermittent power? How do you deal with poor grids? And I think that is the next challenge to deal with. I think I'm not an expert on the hydrogen economy, but I think we're probably a few years away before we really understand what that will do in developed markets, where we have a broader set of resources and infrastructure to deal with. Fun enough, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday at the venture capital team of Equinor, and he was actually quite excited about the prospects of hydrogen here in Abu Dhabi, because you got a combination of nuclear power, lots of gas, and very, very good irradiation. So I think that's probably a little bit further down the road, but I think blending in, you have a lot of self-generation across sub-Saharan Africa. I think in Nigeria, where you have 20 gigawatts of installed power capacity, 5 gigawatts is grid connected, probably only 2 of that works. The remaining 15 are basically non-grid connected diesel generation or HFO generation. So I think there's a lot you can do of basically adding renewables to captive power projects that are already existing, and therefore reduce carbon footprint. So I think that's certainly something that we think is an interesting energy transition exercise.